We're going to start the sentence writing strategy fundamentals version, and this will be a review of what you've learned before, and it will just be to help you remember the different skills we need to use when we're writing. So good refresher for the beginning of the school year. So if you look here, the first requirement for a complete sentence, there's going to be 5 of them, is that it starts with a capital letter. And if you look on the right side there, we've got the capital letters of the alphabet there for you, just for a review. And remember that the capital letter is always going to start as the larger case letter, and then anything that you write beyond that is going to be lowercase in your sentence. And the capital letter signals to a reader that a new sentence is beginning. So when you're reading something, you're always going to notice that the sentence in the book starts with a capital letter at the beginning. So that signals to you that that's the beginning of the sentence. And they like to make a reference to it being like the green light that you would see when you are driving. So the next part here, part 2, is actually your red light that happens. So when you get to the end of a sentence, you're going to have punctuation that ends it. You're going to have either a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. Those are the 3 that we like to use. It's good to vary them in your sentences. So when you're looking at writing more and more sentences, make sure that you're using different ones. So like I said before, step 1, always remember that you're going to start with a capital letter, that's your green light, and then step 2 is your red light where you have ending punctuation. And then we have what happens in between those 2 things. And the first part of that is that we have a subject. And so we're always going to use a capital S to identify this. So when you're doing examples about this that are going to be coming up, you're going to want to make sure that you're identifying that capital S. And a subject is the person, place, or thing, quality, or idea that a sentence is about. And if you look here, we have 5 different examples of that. So the first one is the person example. Jenna went for a walk. Jenna is the subject for this sentence. She's a person. If you look at the second sentence, the store was closed. Store is a place. So that's an example of a place. Balloons rose into the sky is the third one. Balloons are things. So that's a things example. And these next 2 are kind of more challenging. They're not something we always see as much also. So the fourth one is quality, and the sentence says silence filled the streets. Silence is actually a quality that would happen. And then the 5th one is an idea. Peace was declared at night. Peace is something that can happen in a war situation or other times of the year. Someone might all of a sudden be feeling peace within themselves. So that's an idea that happens. So those are our different types of subjects and how they look. And we're going to want to make sure that we always have a subject in our sentence. Otherwise, it would not be a complete sentence. So then our 4th part is that we need to have a verb. And the verb is a word that shows the action of the subject of the sentence. So there's different ways that you can do this. You can either have body actions or mind actions. Those are the 2 that we typically use. So body actions would be walk, run. If you look here over on my other, the orange example there, smell would be another one, swing, pat, things that are body actions. Mind actions are words like think, want. Let me see if I can find some other ones over here. They're a little not as... Educate would probably be a mind action. Type. We use the other one more often. We use the body ones, but don't forget about those mind ones. Perform is probably another one that might fit into that. So we want to make sure that we have the subject and the verb for our 4th and 5th steps. And then our last step for making sure it is a complete sentence is we need to make sure that the sentence makes sense. So you need to go back and go, okay, let's say we wrote a sentence and we think our sentence is a purple cat. And that's our sentence. Would that make sense? Does it have a subject and a verb? And we would have to make sure that we realize that no, it does not have a verb. We didn't say something about what the cat did. So a purple cat is chasing a dog. We might as well be funny and make it a pink dog. That would then be a sentence that probably doesn't make sense, but it is a complete sentence. So let's make sure it makes sense. So a brown cat is chasing a yellow dog. That would make much more sense. So hopefully you found my humor there. We want to make sure it makes sense. If we're doing a humorous writing, that would be okay, but the first one, but probably not a realistic thing that people would think would make sense. So always make sure that your sentences make sense. So to review, here are your 5 requirements for a complete sentence. Make sure that it starts with a capital letter. Step 2, make sure it has ending punctuation, either a period, question mark, or an exclamation point. Step 3, make sure that it has a subject. Step 4, make sure it has a verb. And then step 5, make sure that it makes sense. And if you use these 3 things, you'll be making sure that you are on the way to making sure that your writing is successful in any ways that you use it. So we're going to continue with the assignments. Since you've watched the video here, I have some examples that I'm going to have you work on. So make sure that you finish that assignment so that you get full credit for this day 1 part of this activity. Thank you.